Previously on X-Men.
I don't want to live my whole life without knowing what it's like to touch another human being. You know what happens when I touch somebody. You want to end up in the hospital?
Maybe it's worth it, no?
But some mutants might welcome the chance to become normal.
Yeah? Who? No deserters in this crowd.
With the release of X-Men 97, which I happen to enjoy, I thought it would be cool to go back and watch the original animation, specifically the episode centering around my favorite X-Man, Rogue. The episode of Rogue's Tale really does a good job diving into Rogue's backstory. The episode touches on things such as self-identity, not being accepted by your family, and it even throws in some redemption and forgiveness. So come with me and let's hop into this recap. The episode opens up with Mystique meeting up with Dracula, who informs her that Professor X is no longer with the X-Men. This surprises her, and me too. Dracula tells her that without Professor X, the X-Men are basically useless, and she should use this as an opportunity to get her daughter back. And Mystique is just like, oh word, bet. It's now the next day, and everybody's enjoying their time at the fair. Then the Brotherhood of Evil pops in and starts terrorizing everyone. Luckily, the X-Men pull up and help everyone. But turns out, the Brotherhood weren't there to meet their daily crime quota. It was actually a scheme set up for Rogue. This woman comes up and does something that causes Rogue's powers to act up. We see her having weird hallucinations where she sees the faces of people whose abilities she's absorbed from. She then wakes up after the incident and Jean informs her that they've spotted the woman that Rogue saw. Jean asks her if she looks familiar, and Rogue kinda remembers her, but she has this flash and soon starts to see this woman everywhere she goes.
Everywhere I go, I see the same.
The woman brings her into another mind hallucination, but this time when she comes out, she isn't Rogue. Well, not all the way at least.
What is this place? Who are you people? Everything's going to be all right, Rogue. No! Get away!
Rogue and the woman are fighting for control over her body. She flies out of the X-Mansion and Storm follows her. She tries to calm her down, but the woman appears again and Rogue goes after her. She follows her to the hospital and we find out that it was actually Mystique pretending to be the woman in order to trick Rogue into going into the hospital. While Rogue is in the hospital, Storm follows her, but is blindsided by Mystique shapeshifted as Rogue, and the Blob comes from behind her and attacks her. Mystique then uses Storm's communicator to call the X-Men up for backup, but when they get there, she captures them. But not for long, because the X-Men fight back. Mystique shifts into the woman again and Rogue spots her and starts chasing her, leading her to the hospital room of the woman. Mystique tells her to touch her to remember who the woman is, and after absorbing some of Mystique's energy, it takes her on a journey down memory lane, where she is reminded of numerous traumatic moments from her past, like her first experience with her powers, the time her dad disowned her, and more importantly, the time Mystique took Rogue in as her adoptive child and trained her on using her powers, which resulted in Mystique using Rogue to take down Ms. Marvel and permanently taking her powers, leaving Ms. Marvel unresponsive in the hospital bed for years. After the incident, Rogue started having weird moments where Ms. Marvel would pop up in her mind. She tried to run away and was found by Professor Xavier, and Mystique has pretty much had a grudge ever since, because once Rogue went with Professor X, she never went back to Mystique, and with Professor X gone now, she used this as an opportunity to get Rogue back, but Rogue quickly realizes that she was being used, and with so much coming at her, she starts to lose control of her powers, and the mind of Ms. Marvel starts to take over.
I'm taking over this mind. And this body. Finally, Miss Marvel is reborn!
Where's Rogue? Share!
Somebody make her stop!
Jean tries to enter Rogue's mind using Cerebro, but that doesn't go too well for her, because Ms. Marvel captures her and throws her to the ground. Rogue then goes to fight her. During the fight, we can see Ms. Marvel teary-eyed as she tries to fight Rogue and get her life and powers back, but she's unfortunately unsuccessful as Rogue captures her in her mind. After Rogue gains control of her body, she leaves Mystique and basically tells her that she ain't really rocking with her no more. The episode ends with Rogue paying a visit to Ms. Marvel, and after she leaves, we see Ms. Marvel get a heartbeat, and she gives us a little smile. In this episode, Rogue was struggling a lot from not having control of of her mind, which ultimately transferred to her not being able to control her powers. On top of that, she found herself coming face to face with the consequences of her past colliding with the person she is now. And dealing with the past actions is already hard for a regular person, but for Rogue, she stole Ms. Marvel's entire mind, body, and soul, and that's a lot more than stealing a candy bar. Rogue also had to deal with manipulation. Mystique was using her from the jump and tried to disguise it as a mother-daughter situation, which it was not. Mystique saw an opportunity to advance herself in Rogue, and Rogue thought that she saw a mother in Mystique, but was deceived. And I do feel bad for Rogue because she was a victim, but the other unfortunate victim was Ms. Marvel. I felt so bad for Ms. Marvel because she was just doing her job and boom, just like that, she in a coma. And towards the end, when she was fighting Rogue and she was literally crying, telling her that she took everything from her, I really felt the emotion that she had. She's been in this hospital bed for years and felt that she was really about to escape, but was actually trapped again. But in the end, when Rogue left the flowers for her and she gave a smile, I believe in that moment she found peace and she was released from that mind prison and became free. It was a really beautiful moment if you ask me. Well, that's my review of this episode. If you made it to the end, I would really appreciate it if you gave me a like and subscribe. And until next time, peace.